India's representative to the United Nations, Ruchira Kamboj, has said that India is committed to supporting a two-state solution for the Israel-Palestine conflict, where the Palestinian people are able to live freely in an independent country with due regard to security needs of Israel. At the UNGA briefing on the Gaza war, she said that India is deeply troubled by the conflict in Gaza, which has been raging for nearly 5 months now. She further stated that the ongoing conflict between Hamas and Israel has led to a large-scale loss of civilian lives and condemned the deaths of civilians. She also demanded the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. Let's in fact listen in to what she said.
A further escalation. Mr. President, as far as India is concerned, we have been deeply troubled by the conflict in Gaza that has been raging for nearly 5 months now. The humanitarian crisis has deepened, and the region and beyond have seen rising instability. India's position on the conflict has been clear and has been stated on several occasions by our leadership. There are 4 key points here. 1. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas has led to a large-scale loss of civilian lives, especially women and children. As I've mentioned before, this has also resulted in an alarming humanitarian crisis. This is simply unacceptable. We have strongly condemned the deaths of civilians in the conflict. It is critical to prevent a further escalation of violence and hostilities. It is also imperative to avoid the loss of civilian lives in any conflict situation. International law and international humanitarian law must be respected under all circumstances. 2. We are cognizant of the fact that the immediate trigger of the conflict were the terror attacks in Israel on 7th October, which were shocking and deserve our unequivocal condemnation. India has a long-standing and uncompromising position against terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. There can be no justification for terrorism and hostage-taking. As such, we demand the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. 3. It is imperative that humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza be scaled up immediately in order to avert a further deterioration in the situation. We urge all parties to come together in this endeavor. We welcome the efforts of the UN and the international community in this regard. India has provided humanitarian aid to the people of Palestine and will continue to do so. 4. As my leadership has repeatedly emphasized, only a two-state solution achieved through direct and meaningful negotiations between both sides on final status issues will deliver an enduring peace. India is committed to support a two-state solution where the Palestinian people are able to live freely in an independent country within secure borders with due regard to the security needs of Israel. In closing, Mr. President, and in order to arrive at a lasting solution, we urge for an immediate de-escalation and eschewing of violence, the release of all hostages, avoiding provocative and escalatory actions, and to work towards creating conditions for an early resumption of direct peace negotiations.
All right, international affairs expert Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava also joins us on the phone line to talk about this. Mr. Srivastava, this is imperative to understand that when it comes to the conflict between Israel and Palestine, we really don't know how long is this going to continue. The eyes of the world and the priority of the world have also changed. In October, it seemed that everybody was pro-Israel, but now looking at the humanitarian crisis and the death toll, it is very, very apparent that this war needs to find a solution once and for all.
Certainly, Vinita. First of all, a very good morning to you. Good morning to all the viewers. This Israel-Palestine conflict must have a permanent solution, and the only solution of this crisis is and that is two-state solution, and that is what has been advocated again. Suggested again by India. India has been, saying this at various forums whether our External Affairs Minister C.S. Jaishankar or other officials, we have maintained our position that two-state solution is the only solution of this problem. But for to do that, there has to be a negotiated settlement, and for to do that, Israel and Palestine, they will have to come together on the negotiating table, and will have to find out that solution. But unfortunately, because of the different positions taken by both the sides, Israel and Palestine, this kind of negotiations have not yet begun. Be it the United States of America or other responsible nations of the world, they all are advocating for this two-state solution, and this is the only solution. But with this regard to this, the current crisis, the current war which is going on between Israel and terror organization Hamas, I think India's position has been very balanced, prudent, wise, and India is always a wise of wisdom. And in this case too, we have always maintained that there has to be a de-escalation of this entire situation, and humanitarian crisis must be addressed. But at the same time, India has also maintained, Vineet, that there cannot be any compromise with this menace of terrorism. And India has a zero-tolerance approach, and in this statement too, Indian representative has very clearly stated that there cannot be any compromise with this issue of terrorism. At the same time, India has also maintained that though this war is Israel is fighting against terrorism, but it is essential to ensure that the innocent lives are not lost any further anymore. And there also should not be a regional escalation of this conflict. So if you look at the India's position, it is very consistent and very wise. Stand India has always taken. But having said that, Vineet, unfortunately, at this point of time, certainly a very catastrophic situation is prevailing. The people of Gaza, they are under enormous difficulties. And they are facing a kind of a disaster. So for to give them some respite, some relief, immediate ceasefire is very much required. And immediate ceasefire is India is very much advocating. United States of American President Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or other top officials of the United States of America, which is a close ally, closest ally of the Israel in this war too. They have been advocating. So I think it is essential that Israel also be proactively, they should take such actions that ensures, a permanent, immediate ceasefire.
Mr. Srivastava, appreciate you joining us, sir.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.